Keep on rocking in the
free world.
Keep on rocking in the free world.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Let's chat about people that have joined the RV life, whether it be in a van like this, or whether it's a trailer, whether it's a big converted bus. They're all RVs. And you decided one day, I'm gonna live rent free. Whether it be you're one of the thousands of people that do what I do and you live in the city and you're an urban RVer, or whether you hit the road and you work online and you travel from place to place all the time, same thing. You decided to take on this lifestyle. By the way, thank you McDonald's for your $1 coffees. You're keeping me alive these days. Tim Hortons? Tim Hortons right across the street there. You got nothing on this. Recently, one of my followers, actually a young couple, who live here in Vancouver, they were at the CamperCon in the summer at the beach with their new to them Class B, actually a fairly modern one. I think it was late 90s or early 2000s Ford Okanagan Class B. They were in my video. They also got interviewed by the various media that was there. And they're very excited to get into the RV life. Now, there is no shortage. I mean, every week I'm getting messages on my Facebook, my Instagram, my direct email off my website, and comments all over my YouTube from people that tell me that it's because of me they decided to move into their RV. And everyone wants to buy me a beer. They all say they're going to come here and visit me one day and shake my hand because apparently I've done something to influence them, and they love it. They're absolutely in love with their new lifestyle. But once in a while, actually I'd say this is probably the first time that I've ever seen it where it's the opposite, and they have decided the RV life is not for them. Now, I was reading over their Instagram post. I'll put it up on the screen here for you, and I'll edit it into the video. It says, Two Crayons in a Van. You can follow them on Instagram. They said, this has been kinda a last straw. They just installed a cubic mini wood stove in their van and had a little problem with the piping on it after a whole bunch of other problems they've just been dealing with their van. So this is what they said. This has been kinda a last straw. Installed the cubic mini, everything was fine. Chelsea smelt smoke last night and it was leaking from the crimp and where it meets the stove. We are starting to find that we were much happier living in our apartment. Maybe we were particularly unlucky with this van, and I get that, but we've had such a bad taste in our mouth from this van that has been nothing but a money pit. Spent $10,000 this year alone and nothing works. Found out our window is still leaking today. Blah, 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 blah. And there's a whole bunch more. And they say we wanted to save money from the unreal rental costs in Metro Vancouver, but we haven't saved a dime since we started. More things keep popping up in a never-ending cycle. I used to save $1,000 a month. With how frugal I am, now we're both saving $0. I don't know if we should have gone bigger or if we've been unlucky, but we're becoming more and more negative as more things come up. We know they say it's not the lifestyle, it's you, but we were much happier before. The summer was wonderful, we met awesome people, lots of fun travels, but now the more things pop up, the more we hate the van and the lifestyle. If you're happy, great. And so basically they're just fed up. Okay, so they've had nothing but problems since they bought the van. One of the commenters on that post was actually another girl here in Vancouver that lives in her van as well, was also in my video. And she bought herself a fairly new Ford Transit van and had it all built herself with her dad. They did a beautiful job on it. And she was also saying she was having some difficulties, and she said, I don't know how Just Incredible makes it seem so easy. Alright. I think a lot of this has to do with perception and just your outlook on things and how you take things in your life and how you react to things. I never said it was going to be easy. I never said it necessarily is easy. I just look at things as they are and deal with them as they happen. Now, I've never had major leaks in my RVs. I have had leaks, but they've usually been factory windows, just like they had. It's never been from holes that I've drilled in my roof. But again, seals and windows and things should be replaced or should be re-siliconed every single year. Any veteran RVer will tell you that. These things do happen, and it is frustrating, especially if you're living in it and it's the middle of winter and you've got to deal with the problem. But unfortunately, that's when you're going to notice these problems, is when it's raining all the time, right? However, I think the biggest difference here is they went from renting, where you just pay a bill every month and everything's taken care of, to home ownership. Suddenly, you're responsible now for your own heat, for your own water, and to make repairs to your home. Now, if you buy any type of home, you're going to have maintenance issues. God knows there's thousands of people in this city alone who every winter have repair bills of tens of thousands of dollars for leaky roofs because their houses are leaking. So it can happen with your Class B RV the same way it can happen with any other type of home, whether it's a boat, a condo, or a single family house. You can get leaks, you can have problems, you can have mold, you can have plumbing issues, you can have all sorts of issues. The biggest difference is with a Class B RV or a Class C RV or any type of RV is that it's usually a lot easier and a lot cheaper to fix those problems. But if you're going from renting to home ownership, even a small home like this, then you've got to consider that all of a sudden you're going to be responsible to fix those problems, not the landlord, not the homeowner. And so you have to, take that into account and always have some funds available in case something happens. I guess I could consider I've been lucky over the years. But I mean, even many years ago, I had a Dodge homemade van, and it had over 400,000 kilometers on it. That's a lot of fucking mileage for a regular van that's not a diesel. And it finally needed an engine rebuild. I sucked it up. I paid thousands of dollars. It took over a week to get it fixed. But you know what? Meh. That's just part of owning any vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's an RV or a car. You might have a big problem once in a while. And to me, it was like, well, I saved over $4,000 in 4 months of rent. So in this city, rent is actually over $2,000 a month for a one-bedroom on average. So having to rebuild the engine of my house is not, when you put it in perspective, sure, it sucks, but it could happen to anyone, whether you live in it or not. Plus, imagine if you had to rebuild your engine in your vehicle, plus you had to pay $2,000 a month for rent. So again, it's all in how you look at it. It's all perspective. Now, they were also complaining about space. Some people are more comfortable in a smaller space. I am, that's for sure. I don't feel comfortable at all in big open spaces. I have so many friends in this city freezing their asses off this winter, complaining about it on social media, that they're freezing in their apartments because they can't turn up the heat. Their landlord won't let, or they don't even have access. A lot of suites these days, they don't give you access to the thermostat because the landlords have that control upstairs. So you can't even be comfortable in a place you're paying thousands of dollars a month for. Meanwhile, in my RV, I've got a propane furnace, plus I've got a wood stove 3 feet away from my bed. Like, I am the most comfortable in my RV. Like, I can't imagine being that comfortable in sticks and bricks. Now, everyone's experience is different, but again, it's all perspective. Just because you're in a house doesn't mean you're going to be warmer than if you're in your van. There's all sorts of different factors that come into play here. Now, as far as space goes, again, the more space you have, the more junk you're going to accumulate, the more things that you're going to have, things that you probably don't need. Even I'm guilty of that. I mean, it all comes down to that old saying, right? Less stuff, more freedom. And I'm bad for that, man. I was just cleaning out my closet earlier going, why is my closet completely full? My closet's only about, 1 meter tall, but it's completely full to the point where I can barely close the door, but there's almost nothing in there that I actually need. It's just a place to store junk. So every once in a while I go through it all and just toss it all. If I haven't touched it for a few months, I don't need it. That's the general rule. So, now, yes, you're gonna have to crawl over things, or you're gonna have smaller aisles. I mean, there's a lot of things that don't change. Well, you can't really, sorry, I'm just merging onto a bridge here, so thank you. Always give the person behind you a little flash with the hazard lights when they let you in. Be courteous, everyone. This guy's letting me in now. He's lighting up a cigarette, so he didn't notice I budged in front of him. Sweet. Okay, so back to the subject here while I'm driving over a bridge. Some people, again, are more comfortable. Sorry if the camera's a little jumpy here, but that's because I'm driving over the bridge deck and it's not that smooth. Some people are more comfortable in smaller spaces. Some people are more comfortable in larger spaces. I think, again, humans are very adaptable, and somebody that may think they need a mansion might be more comfortable in a tiny house once they adjust to it. Especially if you start getting rid of junk you don't need. When I grew up, I loved small spaces, tree houses, forts, my bedroom at home growing up as a kid. I didn't want to be anywhere else in the house. So to me, this is a natural extension of the way I've always felt in my life. I love the smaller spaces. And I've experimented with larger RVs before, as all of you long-term followers know. I've had big RVs before. I had a big Class A at one point, and it was ridiculous. I didn't need that much space, and I didn't even want that much space. Needing and wanting are very different things, and I think anyone that thinks they need more space, they've got it wrong. They just want more space. But that can change too, because people change over time, and your beliefs may start to change over time. So, you know what? Two crayons in a van, you guys are awesome. You tried it, it didn't work for you this time. Maybe it'll work for you sometime in the future. But I think you had a long string of just bad experiences and bad luck. You even stayed at a hotel this week and you posted that you had bed bugs at your hotel. Like, obviously the universe is mad at you for some reason. Because all this stuff was just happening one after another after another. And to me though, even if that happened to me one after another, I would just, you know, honestly, I mean, everyone who's long-term here, who's seen me for a long time knows that I don't take these things personally, and I don't let things get me down. I just fight back, and I see everything as the glass is still half full. Like, my God, you've got your Class B. You're doing better than everyone in this city who's actually homeless. You're doing a lot better than people that are struggling to make ends meet and pay their rent and don't have access to heat in their apartments, and have to take a bus everywhere, or have to have a separate car to get around everywhere, and they can't just turn the key and drive off to the campgrounds on the weekend or park at the beach at night. Like, there's so many good things about the lifestyle, even if you've got some little things you got to deal with, like a leak in your roof, or you know, or whatever. But it doesn't mean it's for everyone. But you know what? Living in a big house isn't for everyone either. So to each their own. So it's interesting, because out of the hundreds of people that have messaged me and thanked me for them jumping into this lifestyle, and then I see this one, and they're local, who suddenly it's just not for them. And I think it's just too many things all happening at once. So as soon as you start to believe, as soon as you start thinking negatively about it, it's gonna just spiral from there, and now everything is gonna bother you about it. And that could be true about any living situation in any structure, or a boat or whatever. As soon as you start, as soon as your brain starts coming up with reasons why you shouldn't do it anymore, you're gonna convince yourself it's not for you. And I think that's what happened here. I'm sorry to see you guys go, but I wish you the best of luck. They're also saying that they were doing it to save money, and like I've said many times on this channel, I'm not doing it for that reason. In fact, sometimes I spend more than a lot of people spend in rent, just buying toys and jumping on ferries, or going skiing, or going to the shooting range. Like, there's a lot of things that cost a lot of money, but at least I'm spending it on things I want to, instead of handing it over to a landlord now. But I certainly didn't choose the RV life for economic reasons. I chose the RV life because I love it. It's a sense of ownership, it's a sense of freedom, and again, I'm more comfortable in a small space that I can call mine. So, you know, again, everybody does it for their own reasons, but for me, it's not about the money. I really don't care if it costs me the same as rent every month. To live like this, I'd still rather live like this. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, guys, keep on rocking in the free world. You two are awesome. So to anyone else watching, has that happened to you? Have you had the same experience? Are you happy with your RV life? Have you had any big obstacles to get through and hoops to jump through? And how do you feel about it? Does it bother you to the point where you want to move out of your RV, or do you just deal with things as they happen and get on with your life and enjoy all the positives of RV life? I'd love to hear from you all, so leave your comments below. We'll talk to you soon. Keep on rocking the free world, everyone.
You are watching Just Incredible TV.
Want to see more? Become a patron and see exclusive content. Plus, see new, just incredible videos before anyone on YouTube. Head over to patreon.com/JCredTV and keep on rocking in the free world.